All right, it's going to be Emily as played by Bill Evans, and we'll talk about all these different chord changes and why they're used. First, we'll just play through it. All right, so there's just some basic voicings that didn't move around a lot, and just simply playing the melody, right? What this tune has in it are a lot of ninth voicings and 13th voicings. So how do those work together? There's a whole standardized subchord thing that piano players learn as these types of voices here. Let's go to the key of C major, right? So the 2-5-1 in the key of C major is D minor 7, G 7, C major 7, right? If you notice in my right hand, I'm not playing the root at all. I'm playing the root down here in the left hand. Right, so there's 3, 5, 7, 9 of the minor chord. This is a typical 13th voicing that gets used throughout this tune. It's really similar to what Bill plays. Sometimes he'll play a 3-note voicing of it or something. Right, or he'll change the ninth. But this is where it comes from. And then here's the 1 chord with a ninth on top, rootless as well, 3, 5, 7, 9. The 7 chord, 13th chord is like 7, 9, 3, 13, right? So what you do is you play these in all 12 keys to get used to them like this. And you move down like this. So I turn the major one into the minor 2 of the next key, right? D minor 7, G 7, C major 7, C minor 7, F 7, B flat major 7, B flat minor 7, E flat 7, A flat major 7, E flat minor 7, E flat 7, G flat major 7, G flat minor 7, B 7, D major 7, E minor 7, A 13, dominant chord, and D major 7. And then it brings you back to where you started after 6 because they're whole tone resolutions. So you have to do that for each whole tone scale. But that happens to be how modulations most commonly move, is that subtle turning the major chord into a minor chord. All right. That being said, you can also play those up like a couple of inversions, or in any inversion, but usually people learn them first like as a direct subchord that looks like something else, like D minor 7 without the root sort of looks like F major 7. So you can invert that up twice and play it from there as well, right? And that happens in this tune as well. So there you play it like this. It's all the same notes, just in a different order. Anyway, here's G major 7 from the top A section, right? Then it's E minor 7, and the A minor 7, 9, like we just talked about, is playing the subchord in inversion, twice up. That sets me up for this D9 chord, which again is just rootless. Anytime you see a 9, you can drop the root. Here's 3, 5, 7, 9 of D, which sets you up for a nice like half step approach down to the 5th of G major 7. You hear that? Here's that G7 13 chord, but with the flat 9. C major 7. Here's that same 13th chord, F. Right? 7, 9, 3, 13. E major 7 looks a lot like C sharp minor 7. It's just the 9th voicing of C sharp minor 7. Alright, here's F sharp minor 7 with the 11th. I like to do this like, sounds nice, right? When you treat it like a sus4 instead of the 11th. But you could just play a stable 11th as well. Alright, And here's B7 flat 9. Anytime you see a flat 9 chord, it's a diminished chord. And anytime you see a diminished chord, it's a flat 9 dominant chord every single time. So it reframes some of the things you might have seen in a chord chart before, right? Like if you see a bunch of diminished chords and they don't make sense to you, it's because they're flat 9 voices of a dominant chord. You can kind of determine what it is by the chords around it, right? But B7 flat 9, 3 5 7 9, just that. E minor 7. Here's that 13th chord again. You could play the E minor like this, like as the 9th voicing. It just leads nicer to the 13th. 7 9 3 13. 9th voicing of A minor. And anytime you see this one, D7 sharp 9 sharp 5, what that says to me is it's the tritone sub 13th voicing, the same 13th voicing. It's exactly the same. Let me show you. Like if you look at it like A flat, right? It's here's 7 9 3 13, like we've been talking about. Now if you went through the whole process, you'd be like, all right, here's D7. I gotta drop the root because it has a 9th in there. All right, I have to sharp the 9th. There that is. And then what if I sharp the 5th? Oh, okay. It's actually it's A flat 13. Okay, and if you look at it like that, it makes a lot of sense because tritone substitution is supposed to sound like a chromatic approach to the next chord. If you look at that three chord cadence there, you get A minor 7. It would be A flat, and then it lands on G. If you look at it like that, it's just a major 2-5-1 with a tritone sub in the middle. Makes a lot of sense that way. And in fact, it's probably more correct to think of it that way if you see sharp 9, sharp 5. So there's G major 7 on the B section, E minor 7, A minor 9 again. This time they want D9 sus. So you have that. When you get to the D7 alt, it can be literally any variation of sharp 9, flat 9, sharp 11, flat 13. Any of these things work with an alt. So you can just play the tritone sub. Here's G7. There's that G13 chord again. Now it says G9 sharp 5. In fact, this is more like a G flat 13 chord because the only difference between G13 and this chord is that you lower the top note. And what that's doing is creating a half step approach to the 9th of C major 7 on the next line. Hear that? Alright, here's B7. And you got E minor 7. Oh, here's another sharp 9 sharp 5 chord. Where we learn about that? That it's always the 13th voicing of its tritone sub. So let's look at what the tritone sub of F sharp is. Here's F sharp, 1, 2, 3 whole steps away. There it is. It's C13, right? Now we've been playing most of them like this, but I just inverted it because it was closer to where I was playing. Same exact notes though. This time it's just 3, 13, 7, 9 instead of 7, 9, 3, 13, right? All right. So there's that. And that makes sense too because that is a half step away from B minor 7, which is the next chord. Right? Here's that 13th voicing of E. Here's A minor, D13. You got B minor 7 flat 5. Little half step thing here with F7 to E7, A minor. Now this is like a chromatic walk up from C minor 6, C minor 7 to B minor, right? It's kind of cool. It's just that 6 keeps walking up until you land on B. Right? Now here's another little trick. If you see flat 9, flat 5. Let's check it out. Here's E, E7. All right. So we need to drop the root because there's a 9th in there. And it's a flat 9. And we also need to flat the 5th. What chord is this? Oh, it's B flat dominant 7th with nothing. It's just a straight up tritone sub. So anytime you see that, right, it's just a direct tritone substitution. Flat 9, flat 5 is the tritone. And again, it makes sense because B flat, A minor 9. It's just half steps away. That's the whole effect. Right? So here it is again. You get the I put a little extra on that one, right? B minor 7 with a 9th. Here's E7 flat 9 flat 5 as the tritone subchord, and here's A minor 9, D13, C major 7. Hope this helps. Until next time.